Hello, comrades. It's Premier Rever back again in Neuve Revergrad, and our people are still relatively happy. So, they're not the happiest people we have. They don't have everything they need, but at the same time, at least they're doing something and they're baking some bread, as a general statement. So, this seems to be going at least reasonably well. If we come over here and look at our imports, right? You know, we are still doing a little bit of food. Let's see, last month, you know, we're better, but this is more about the improper distribution, I think, and which is a problem, but at least we could take a look. Western countries, yeah, a little bit of food here or there, but we greatly cut back on our amounts that we're importing. Coal and iron. I was thinking about this and doing some mathematics, and you know, once in a while in life, mathematics come in pretty handy. I really don't think this is worth it if you look at the prices of things. Now, yeah, I don't understand quite why they would make the economy like this, but really it's almost, you know, I went and looked at how much we would need if we were running at full steam, right? So if you take 375 coal times it's gone up since for a little while here, but it was like 375, and then no, I'm sorry, did it go down? You know what? I used 581. Okay, because I was using dollars. Well, that's not real bright. I used dollars for the one half of the equation, and then I went and looked at the pricing. So maybe it's not as bad as I thought. So what is the steel? You know what? It's really not as bad. What price did I use for? I use 750 for the iron? Yeah, so I was using the American dollars and I was comparing it to selling it by rubles, which isn't really fair to do because this is only, yeah, so if we did 13,300 times 40 that we would get, yeah, that's not so bad. Sorry about that. All right, never mind. So it does actually, yeah, we're just going to do 13,000 even. Yeah, it does make sense to do this. Unless you mess your rubles up and then, you know, you use the higher price dollars to calculate your expenses. But we did get a load of steel. Plus, if nothing else, it gives the people in Farminski something to do, right? Like, we'd be paying for them anyway, so at least they can come over here and work because their bakery is shut down, and at some point we'll talk about redoing, you know, just getting rid of it, or if we want to redo it as far as getting corn out of these farms go. But there's our locomotive, and he did make one trip, so I've switched him over. It takes quite a while for him to get all of the steel he needs, but then he'll just drive it all the way over to here this time. So, but he did come down here, and he gave us a shot of steel. Let's see how much we have left. Yeah, we still have some left too. So, you know, at least this way, these guys are getting to work on these railroad tracks, which is good because for a while everything was paused down here. I'm not going to work on anything but the railroad tracks for now. We don't need another farm. We don't have all the fields laid out anyway. We'll see how we're doing with the corn. We're full up on corn, so we could, you know. The next thing I would do when we had more steel would be to get that. But look, we're all full of alcohol, so we need to get these railroad tracks done so we can get an alcohol train in and out of here. And does that make sense? Yeah. So we'll just say we have some time to get that done, but we really don't need another farm. Once the railroad tracks are done, we can get in there. Okay, enough of that. So that's what we're doing down here, and then. Yeah, our little steel extra overflow, I think, is working out well, especially if there's any issue with that steel train. Because if you notice between the two areas, we're now over what this guy would have held 150. So we're still producing and putting it in this small open storage while we wait for this train to get back. Now, there was a reason that train didn't come back. And this is probably the first real thing that I would like to do. So he came by and dropped off here, but when I was just coming up here, I noticed I think we are all done and ready to, quote, switch this over, right, to, like, I think we can get rid of these lines here and have stuff come in and out. So we don't have any trains in here at the moment. So let's pause it just real quick, just so I can delete some things and focus without a train showing up on me. All right, so we're going to get the cancel railway thing, right? And I don't think they're going to be coming in and out of here anymore. So I'm going to bust both of these off. Oops. That really didn't go quite as smoothly as I was hoping. But yeah, so this train's going to come in through here. So let's just... Right, get rid of that track. I want to get rid of these extra tracks to make sure, but I don't want to delete stuff I don't need to. All right, so now this guy can come in here and go that way, and he can cut right through here. Now this guy's going to come not this way anymore. All right, and this guy is going to come not this way anymore. Same thing with this guy. Now this guy, yeah, he's going to loop around here and go back out. So he's going to go not this way. So I don't think we need this track, which I kind of knew, but you know, we don't need this one anymore at all. You know, I'm doing this like kind of the slow way. I'm just trying to be careful about it, right? All right, and then let's just, I know we're not going to need this one. Then let's get rid of these two symbols. And then this is one of the reasons we wanted to do this, right? Because it's going to tighten this up. And this should be a signal back out. Yeah. And then this has been disconnected here. All right, so now let's just take a look. So this guy, we don't need this one anymore, right? That's roads. No wonder it's not working. Yeah, the symbols, I would be nice if they would make the rail signal not look like it's jackhammering roads. All right, there we go. So this is a little bit goofy here. Certainly probably could have been done a little smoother, but when you had all those other tracks in the way, it was a little harder to get things to line up, right? But anyway, it's good enough. So these guys can come out here, join up, right? So this will be the outbound. So let's get the signaling so that's true, right? Now, the other thing is, yeah, like this will be the inbound, right? So like these two should have chain signals here, right? And then they should have regular signals coming back out, right? That way, yeah, I think that makes sense. Now this guy, yeah, there should only be one train coming in and out of here, but this guy should have a chain signal here. Same thing with this guy. And I don't think, well, do we want to signal here and here? See, I think it's, some of these things are going to be too close. So when you get them too close, they make a bigger mess. Yeah, I think the next one heading out should be like, let's get rid of this so that we can move it as close as we can move it, right? Yeah, so unfortunately, this guy's going to have to wait until the next one. If one of these two trains is coming out, they're just going to have to wait until later. Let's get this one. This one, this should be, these two should be chain signals. Right, and then we put a regular one here. Yeah, that could be regular, and hopefully that doesn't cause a problem there. And the other thing I would do is say we should, once we think a full train is in the block. Oh, why is that? Yeah, you know what? None of these are electrified. Yeah, let's. Yeah, so that's a little bit further than it needs to be. Then they come around here. Now, do we need this at all? I think we just did this for construction purposes. So I want to get rid of this piece of track, which will only cause signaling issues, right? Like, try to keep these separate as we can. So this guy, I think, is also for track building purposes. Right? We don't need this anymore because this guy can come in this way. What a mess, huh? We don't need that anymore. And all this just causes signaling problems, right? Yeah, so now why would you, yeah, you really, well, to come back out, but no, you're not coming back out that way anyhow, so. Yeah, nobody comes out that way. Yeah, these should be regular signals in their proper direction. And this should be a regular signal, but this should be a chain signal going into this intersection, right? Good. Yeah, I think we got everything on the outgoing done. Now here we just want to make sure, yeah, in, yeah, these are all good. And I think this one's not good on the outgoing. Yeah, those just should be one way out. There we go. All right, let's stop the pausing there, but at least that way we didn't have trains coming in on us, which could have made some of that a bit of a pain, because they get on there and then it tells you you can't delete it because it's on there. So yeah, so we'll have to come back and keep an eye on this, but I hope that makes sense. Maybe I don't have all the signaling quite the way I need it, but remember, there's not that many trains coming up in here, right? I mean, there's 5 of them. All right, what are you doing? You're just, okay. Yeah, this still is not. Yeah. What I'm thinking we could do is probably at least cut that down a little bit, right? Yeah, the only issue will be them coming in and out of here, which you just can't do that much about. And then this. Yeah, this is just a bit of a mess. Now the crisscross here so that they can get in and out of this and kind of flip whatever way they want. So in some ways it's not the greatest place for that, but we can live with it, right? All right, there we go. Now I want to see a train up here. Of course there are none. Is there a jam up someplace? No. All right, so let's go take a look at another thing I did. 2 things. Well, kind of all the same thing, but did the same thing twice. So we ended up putting the pump in here. Sure enough, when we got fuel into here, it wouldn't flow into this tank at all. So I put another one of these pumps in here. And the reason is I really want some excess fuel, right? I don't want to be selling off, you know, too much fuel and then find myself with none of it. So I say all this because I saw the oil train coming up here. I don't know if he's got bitumen or he's got oil. He's got fuel. And, well, yeah, he wouldn't have had oil, fuel or bitumen. So, you know, the bitumen's doing pretty good. And I've noticed that we're getting excess fuel compared to the bitumen, which is good and predictable. So pretty shortly here, I'd like to get some of these, like, vehicles, like the related vehicles, like the cistern here, to start coming here, right? Like this guy's going all the way up to oil trawl. So, yeah, let's have him, instead of going all the way down there, this is the reason we did this, right? We can come to here. And then I can delete this out and say load fuel. And for now, I guess you should wait. We'll just see what happens if we get these guys to wait. I know that might, but if nothing else, if there's a problem, they cause a traffic jam, and you're more likely to notice the traffic jam than the lack of fuel. So there is some argument. So he's doing a pretty good sized loop. But then same thing with like the ones over here, and I'll probably do some of this off camera. Just like if we come to this guy. Guys, I had muted myself. So, as you probably figured out from whatever note I left in the video, I think I'm unmuted. Let me check. Yes, I am unmuted. So once in a while I to catch a noise in the background, or I don't know if I just hit the wrong darn key or something, but I don't know why I didn't just unmute it if I did need to sneeze or cough or whatever happened at that moment. And anyway, here we are. So time is paused, and let me catch you up on what has been going on, because it was, you know, I had recorded a good amount of the next segment and then just went to make sure that they like fit together, and noticed that like I wasn't recording any sound. So that I had to go back and figure out when. So it was pretty early on, but we had gotten Itupafalu over here set up as a single thing. Now, there was little issues where, do you see how this is still showing like not electrified? Well, at these little segments right here, I hadn't electrified them. So that was, so I just went ahead and just paid for those. Since then, I've been keeping a close eye on our steel, and we've been doing actually pretty well, and just assigning a bunch of construction jobs. In addition to that, we have any of the fuel that's on like this side of the map right now is pretty much being supplied from here, which is sort of where you could say I cut myself off. But this has been running pretty well. The biggest probably issue that I've had, and this has just more been time I spent, you know, playing the game, is these construction guys coming in and out of here are just really making a mess of this. So I did put a few more signals up here. There's no way around it but just to babysit it. This intersection needs to be fully fixed. And by that I mean really just sort of get in here and sort of make sure trains can go every which way they need to, and not have so many interlacing. Like we might have some more bridges or who knows what, right? Underpasses, whatever we have to do to get these guys around. But until this other track gets finished, there's not too much sense in worried about it, right? Because all the trains need to go on the one track. They kind of need to be interconnected. But I come down here, and this is just a big, huge mess. Here, we're going to play again. But then this is probably going to be a bit of a mess too, but we need to get this all electrified. This is track. It's just hasn't been electrified. Some reason, for sometimes it goes like this, other times, and I don't really understand why. Like if you look at this track, look, it has a job for being electrified, but it looks like regular track, and then when you hover close, you see the poles. But for some reason, when I did this track, it looks like it's like relaying the whole thing, so I don't know. But in any event, we'll have these guys coming to work on it. They're getting kind of close to it. So let's see, I mean, these are the same tracks, but yeah, look, I think they're just going to electrify this. We'll just, yeah, see, look, As soon as he electrified it, what'd you do, buddy? Are you feeding back on yourself, or why are you... No, you shouldn't be. Oh, there you go. So now you just decide to go through the red signal. Well, that's... Oh, you probably didn't have any workers. Okay. Yeah, see, he's not laying new track. He's just... See, look, he's just putting down the pole. So I don't know why it graphically does that sometimes. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, in other words, the other thing I've just been doing is just going around checking that everybody has a couple jobs or the right number of jobs for them, and just trying to make sure I don't over-assign things so that we run out of all of our steel. One thing I'm hoping to see done one of these decades is this road here. We have 2 people there, but you know, I'm tired of waiting, so we're going to come over here and we're going to take a look at our car manufacturing in a minute. But I just thought I'd give you a bit more of an update on what's been going on, right? So these guys have been diligently working, and I should say even too, finishing up track. So it's sometimes it's a little bit hard to know which one I've finished up and which one I haven't, but if you look, all of this inner stuff here is getting done. And yeah, see, we're working on this over here, which is the passenger workers route, you know. And let's see, what does this say? So this one's always the one over there. They're forever working on this bridge. I don't know. We might have to look into why they're so forever looking on that bridge. But there should be one more guy over here who can work. And you should have to look to see. Otherwise, they just conflict with each other, right? So this is a pretty long... Yeah, see, he probably finished that route right there. So there you go. Try that one. Yeah, so... Yeah, you kind of have to keep track of which one you're sending. And if you don't, like I said, just get a jam up. Now, what is going on with this? No construction assigned. I don't really understand why that is. That would make it sense, though, wouldn't it? Well, let's see. Can we... Unfinished railroad. This one I think has been sitting here. Yeah, let's just sort of see if we can't reassign that. Whatever it was. And you come work on this one. Yeah, see that? I think that was it. So I don't really understand. Now if I click on this though, well, whatever. Yeah, but we should have what we need. We'll see. Yeah, we definitely want to get that one done too. Yeah, so we're making some pretty good progress over here. You know, I have been taking like this guy when he runs out of stuff to do and just getting him to work on a few things, and same thing with this one. Now I have noticed with this one is not doing the perfect job of auto searching for stuff that it can do. Right, like for example, if we click on this, it's not bringing any stuff out to this one. I don't understand why. Like if I go over here and assign it, it'll start. Now remember, this is the one that just has the equipment for hauling, right? We stole a few of the dump trucks out of here or whatever. But you know, might as well get them hauling stuff, and it's just, they're not. They did a good job at one point, but now they're just not. So in any event, we're going to move on from that. So I've had a little bit of a debate. Do I put more houses in here? See, the problem is we need to get this done kind of first, you know, like to be honest, because this is going to be done a lot quicker than any car manufacturing is, right? And this is definitely something I want to keep as like kind of the top priority towards getting us more steel. So let's do this first. It shouldn't take overly long, and we're all ready, and then we could just sort of call it done, right, before we even start building these roads. So what I have here, just so you guys know, is a kindergarten and a school. And let's turn on the wireframe a little bit. This will be a little bit different than that other neighborhood because, yeah, wireframe. Oops, might as well go over to the school thing, or the houses thing. if you look, there's kind of a ridge right here, right? So I'd like to get a house or something that fits well right in this area, right? And I want it to be a fairly high quality house, like something in the 90s. Now, what does this guy hold? 162. Now, there was another one. People were saying they like this. Holds 97 one, right? This one holds 127. Oh, that fits in there nicely, right? I like that it has that little... Yeah, I kind of like that. Well, let's see. Before we... So that one's only 89% quality. This one's 91. This one... Well, that would fit in there. And I mean, more is always better, right? Something like that. I mean, it does fit. I don't think I've built these too much. Now what we want to do is make sure we can get a road in. See, I really don't necessarily think we need all of these roads. I haven't really seen some great benefit to hooking them all up. Let's put it that way. So I'm not even sure why that's such a thing with the developer. Is it just because they want you to have the flexibility? I probably should have. Yeah, that looks pretty square to the grid anyway. Yeah, and then let's hit R. That was another suggestion from someone. Right, and then we'll build a road again. Connect one of these anyway. You know what? We're not even going to connect any. We're going to delete these roads and then rebuild them so that it's less construction projects for me. Oh, that's not the same one. All right, yeah, that works out pretty well. Then let's do the same thing on the other side, but first, let us destroy some roads. Footpaths. And footpaths. Very good. And now let's put the road back in. So this one, maybe we'll try to eye this one up so we don't have, we definitely want the good roads too, right? Yeah, see. And then I don't have a problem with maybe putting this one in right away, right? So it won't connect right kind of where it looks good, will it? Alright, well, they connect, you know what, let's put both of them in like this. And we'll leave that disconnected. And we'll do like the same thing over here. Let's see if we can't just eyeball this up this time without destroy. Well, it destroys all our roads because it puts those silly footpaths connected. Kind of really wish it wouldn't even do that, right? Like, don't connect the footpaths for me. I can handle that on my own, right? Alright, so let's hit R twice, and we'll leave like a little closer. There. You can kind of tell where the other building ends from where that turns red. Let's just leave enough room to hook up those footpaths, right? Plenty enough room for a road. Yeah, so now let's destroy our road again because it put all those footpaths. There. So now we put the road back. Alright, hopefully you'll connect where you look nice. Nice enough. I don't think that's too close. Good. So let's commit to that. Alright, so now, before we build any more, let's just take a little bit of a head count, right? How many is that? No, that's the wrong thing. So that's going to be 179 workers in each one of those. 96% niceness flats. So, and that's going to be, what, 8 of them. So 179 times 8. Let's get the old calculator out because that's like mathematics. Plus I'm on camera. Somebody, no math on camera, right? So that's 1,400 people can live there. So now keep in mind that we need 3 shifts worth of whatever we say here. So we have 220 times 2, right? So that's 440 because we have 2 of these mines. There's no sense in opening up each mine. We have 3 of these buildings, these processing plants, and they only have 15, so that's 45, right? So we're up to just under 500. Now, well, believe it or not, that firehouses, I'm not even going to really count that. Most of all these buildings are just, yeah, I mean, once we process the ore, right, then the only other ones are these here. So, you know, that's two coal plants, even though I said I wasn't going to open them all up. And that's about it. Yeah, so that's not quite as bad as I was picturing. When the number of... Oh, no, wait. We got another coal mine over here. Okay, so that'll be 660 in coal mines. Okay, that's a little bit more like what I was thinking. And when you say that, plus 45 is going to be about 700, right? Plus then we need another 400. So let's call it 750 would be like kind of the minimum if we wanted this to all be flowing 100%, right? And I don't expect that, just, you know. So what we would need is about 2,100, right? Because 3 times the number, like, you know, is probably a good estimate. You might probably want a few extra for inefficiency's sake and the fact that some of these people will decide to go to work down here or whatever. So we're pretty close, right? So we would need to get, what did I say, 1,400? Yeah, we're just going to round that, 1,400. So we need to get another 700 or so up here, right? So let's see what else we can do. I definitely want to try to get, I don't know what the quality of flats does, but what does this look like? How many does that hold? It's only 48. I don't want 7,200. Yeah, that's only 87% quality. You would think some of the smaller houses would have higher quality, right? Yeah, quality of flat 68%. Yeah, we don't want that one. And this one's like the biggest one I've been using. Let me go with these. I mean, these are similar but different. And then what I'm wondering is, do we want to put them... Can we put them? No, not really. Well, let's get rid of that one just for a second. So we're talking about these ones, right? If we did them this way, well, I'd probably do them. Yeah, I don't really want them attached to the road. I do really need to remember the R button. Of course, I don't care if they're attached with the footpath, though. I don't know if that's going to mess up my... Alright, so how many is each one of these? 162. So 162, let's call it 800. Five, or 4 point something, but so why don't we put 6 in, right? If I put another one, oh, you know what? That's too close. Yeah, if you're gonna eyeball, you're really better off eyeballing from up above. Make sure you leave like a full block, probably like 3 blocks in between the buildings. When it comes to like getting a road, and you get a footpath in a lot tighter, but there we go. Alright, so does that kind of look like it's lined up with the others? There we go, about 3. A little extra for a footpath. So now what I'm hoping to do is take one of these fancy roads. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, and then I can I know I'm breaking up the roads, like I say, I don't like to normally, but you know what, let's... I could cheat it to look a little bit nicer that way. Alright, so there we go. So that is, you know, approximately what we would need to get those other things going. Now the question is, what do we do with all this extra road little bits? I think I'm going to just take these off for now, right? We'll see. We can always put them back on there. Oh, look, that guy could almost loop in and around, right? Will you? You look like you'd almost want to go up that hill. Yeah, I don't know why you would go up that hill like that, but... Yeah, well, you know what? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, isn't that what they say? But yeah, I kind of like that. It's a little different, but you can see I was off just a tiny hair, but they'll forgive me, right? Okay, so there we go. So I think that should be in the ballpark of enough people that we can always add a few more down the road if we find we need them. So you can see why I went with bigger trains, I hope. And then as we get ready for this, we'll get ready for, you know, more people in here. Like, we don't really have any people in these houses yet, right? This was going to be the first area, and we'll see. I want to work out a good way to get the trains, you know, these work trains over to, like, in here, right? So I don't really want them being interfered with. Oh, you know what? There we go. Yeah, this is... Is it because we don't have... No, they're chained. So how do you get in there? You know, like, that's what I don't understand. Like, you know, like, how does he get in there to begin with? Like, he's got a chain signal. He should be good to go. Oh, it's because they're feeding back on themselves here. Okay. Do you guys see that? Like, in other words, when they get up to here, because this guy is on this track, it's feeding back through this connection, even though those tracks aren't technically connected. It's just that this one rubs up against the other one. It caused that red signal up here, so yeah, anyway, there you go. And the pain is if you have your intersections far enough from each other, you can put the signaling in, but the real pain comes in when you don't, because it doesn't recognize that this track is not in any way actually attached to this one. It feeds back through that just because they're touching right there. Keep that in mind. All right, so there we go. All right, so we spent a good amount of time of this episode already, but we've gotten this done. Now we probably need to go around and look for the, messes, if you want to call them that. Yeah, see, like the rail, this guy's no longer assigned to do anything. And I expect that because, hey, these guys are getting done. I'm going to send him over to here. In the meantime, yeah, this one's been coming into here, so I've been having them just kind of, sort of finishing one section at a time just to call it done so I don't, it's a lot of confusing mess. So just trying to keep them straight, get them to do one thing. See how I had them come in here and finish that and then just work their way right on around. Good. So how about our guys over here? Now, how are we doing for steel before we go? Oh, yeah, look, we got good steel. Some of that's because when I don't assign things, right? So coming over here, we're getting really close to done. Yeah, see, the only other problem is, oh, yeah, you know what? We have these. We can assign a bunch of footpaths potentially, too. Is that not going to be attached? Yeah. The worst part about not attached is that it also then messes up your, yeah, that one's already assigned. There you go. So that's plenty for him to do for a while, including using up some steel. So I did get a few other footpaths in here, if you can see them. So we need to go around and make sure that each of these, I went around and planned them, I think, but we need to go around and make sure each of those train stations has good footpaths over to where the people work, which again, really isn't that much for all the buildings. Like I said, we got, 6 buildings over here, plus the 2 power plants, 8 buildings that actually require workers to work. Everything else is just moving coal from one area to another. So we'll see what happens with that, right? Now, do we have any more? Yes. Yeah, I need to get him working on some of these, too. Yeah, let's have him, why not, right? Because he doesn't have enough to do yet. No. Yeah, just work on those power lines. At least we can see where they end that way. Good, so that's plenty of work for him. How is our bakeries doing? Yeah, we need to get the distribution going. But it's good. We got plenty of food anyway. Now, we're also likely to come down here. No, they're moving. Yeah, look, say... This is just because I bet you it's the construction cranes here. Why are we stopped? We're just stopped. Yep, we're just stopped. Now, is there a particular reason we've decided to just stop? We got blue, blue, blue. This is red. Why is this red? Doesn't make any sense that that's red. There's no train on that bit of track. It's just red. And this is something that I've been noticing. I don't know if it was better before, but if I come back here and put this back up, it's green, right? So these signals aren't always switching back like they should. And I don't really know why. And we got all kinds of question marks. All right, well, at least we got a train moving, right? Yeah, let's see if that question mark frees up. Like, where are you supposed to be going? be distribution. Yeah, I don't know why you're going that way, but if you look, now they're moving. And this, the problem with this is that all it takes is that one fountain. Let's see if it switches back. Yeah, now say it's switching green, like it should. Why was that red? Right? Just, you know, no reason. It was just decided to be red. So yeah, it's all frustrating enough, and then you have problems like that. Now, what do you? Okay, yeah, this really grinds, and this intersection's so vital at this point. Like, look, every single train we have goes through this intersection. I'm trying to get construction done on it, and then I have to fight with the game where it's just turning things red when they shouldn't be, you know? All right, so anyway, what are we doing here? Overlook a... Good, so this is all done as far as the whatever call it goes. Now we have to keep an eye on our money, because as long as this guy, he's not over here, so he's gone and thrown his hat into the mix. Oh yeah, look, you know what? We're full of steel here, so I am going to assign this guy, for better or for worse, to work on a couple more of those pumping stations. Are we going again? Yeah, we're just it just takes time. There we go. Alright, well that's the kind of time-consuming thing that's going to probably cause the end of the episode. And it's the kind of thing that that's, you know, when we get down to it, that's the reason I pause right there. Because then I don't have to worry about stopping what I'm doing, or it's like either have this happen, or really I expected it to be a construction crane. I didn't expect it to be a game bug, but either way, it doesn't matter why you have these problems, and I enjoy fixing them. Don't get me wrong. It's I'm not really complaining. I mean, I wish the devs would fix that, but they've been working on it. Things have definitely been getting better. Yeah, good. There you go. So good. At least we have it literally, I think, drew our whole economy to a halt. All right, let's go do something real quick while I hope that straightens itself out. Let me just come down here, make sure these two knuckleheads are working. Are they working, or did they jam themselves up? I half expected them to, yeah, that's, okay, good. I half expected them to jam themselves up, like, right here. Nah, they're still... Only one of them assigned, but that might actually be a good sign. Well, I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad one, but good. You know what? Let's assign this. I'm hoping they'll come up. Doesn't connect. Why not? Really? Why doesn't it connect? It looks like it should connect. Why don't you connect? Oh, because you probably have one-way signals right here. I got you. So, but you can come in here, I think. Yeah, that's definitely going to cause a problem, but we'll see. Let's go close our eyes and go talk about this, just to give you guys, like, whet your guys' appetite for what we're going to do over here. And, you know, we're going to need a good number of people. I want to make more or less a conventional town. You know, they obviously can't be too close, because I'm sure these car manufacturers put off some pollution. So let's go ahead and get a car manufacturer, vehicle production line. And let's just plop two of them down, or one of them down anyway, and we'll just sort of see what it takes, right? Like I said, I know we're getting close to running out of time, but so what I'm picturing is something like this and this, right? Yeah, so let me take a look at this. So there's no rail in and out of this thing directly, is there? No. And then, yeah, unfortunately, once you close that, it doesn't really tell you anything about the thing, like what it needs. So we need plastic. We kind of know all this already, but I just want to review. Plastic, electronics, mechanical components, fabric, and electrical components. So the question is, do we try to share a lot of that stuff? I mean, if we did want to share a lot of that stuff, and by that I mean, or do we just do it like, you know, two separate train lines in a or fill lines, right? Like, because this one, like we would spin one around maybe, or yeah, I mean, we could just have like, here's another question. Do we have these things brought directly here? Like if I had a train that would just come and fill this one up, and then that stupid warning is in the way. Let's zoom in. Let's come over here and do it. Yeah, the people can come in many different ways. Yeah, you know what? I'd probably do it this way so that the road was facing out, right? Yeah, I could even do it like this. Now, what would that cover as far as this guy's... Whoa. That was weird, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean, we could put really everything in there. I mean, every single thing except, well, we need steel. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to have to think about this myself. I don't think we're going to do this, right? But what I'm thinking of is really everything they need would fit into one distribution. Right? So, I mean, that's kind of interesting because I wondered if we shouldn't do something like the opposite of what we've been doing, where we have like a, nah, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it, but that's what we're generally going to do. And the good news is I don't think it's going to take up that much space, though we could talk about like more of them, right? Like if we, like sometimes you plop something down and you realize, you know what, this is calling for 4 of these kind of thing, like not just 2. And then what I would like to do is have just a regular construction distribution somewhere over this way that's not interfering with the town. So that is what I will do in between episodes. Just think about that more, not do too much of any work. I may mess around with it to see what I think is a nice layout. And then we'll go from there. How does that sound? All right, guys. Well, sorry about the muting earlier on. I hope I'm still speaking. Here, let me check. Yep, I am. I do wish that they had some kind of a symbol up there that would let me know when it's actually muted. That would make a lot of sense and be, I could see that it's recording. I could see they even telling me like how many DPI I'm recording in. But they won't tell me that I'm muted. In any event, I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. When I come back, we'll start designing our cars manufacturing. Sound good? All right, guys. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.